Thank you for joining me for Profile. Last week, I started a conversation with Mrs. Melita Samuels, the scriptwriter for several of those scripts you would have seen on Lime Tree Lane that were broadcast on JBC television. But we're learning so much about her from St. James and from a family of many children. And her responsibility, as given by her father, was to farm. But she wanted more than that. She wanted a government job, as she puts it. But she was also a business person because when her father sent her to market, she was able to sell the things and add on a little extra for herself. And she was insisting that she would go on to pass her exams and move on. And just move on she did. We're going to continue this conversation now. So thank you for watching. Thank you for joining. This is Profile. I am Faye Ellington. Melita Samuels tells her story from a place of humor and also reflection, and she's back to continue that story today. Melita, you've given us the background. You were an unpaid probation teacher for about 2 years. Then you started getting £12. You had to cut it in two to share with somebody else, and then you were encouraged to move on. But you also got married during that time. So you were now a wife. I don't know, when did the first child come along?
Yeah, the child, 1957.
That's when you got married?
That's when my first child came along.
How were you managing then to be a wife and a mother, and when you looked at your future, you wanted to go on to teachers' college?
Yeah. I was really determined. I really owe gratitude to Sir Howard Cook because he took me under his wing. And not only giving me the job, but he got 4 of us together, and he got this syllabus from Michael, and he took us through the college exam externally, and we were able to take the exam. So when I became a teacher, not a college-trained teacher. How do I put it? A registered teacher, 4 of us. And that's how we but then he said afterwards, he said, go to college and get the experience. So I really owe Sir Howard Cook gratitude because he did that. So I started working, and as a teacher now, went to college, went to Teachers Training College, and I came back when I returned to Colonel Avenue, and I taught. Then he had left, but there was Mr. Hewling, and I taught there. But then I was in culture.
When you say you're in culture, what do you mean?
I would do art and craft, art and craft for JCDC, and I exposed myself to JCDC, enter the school and the pieces to JCDC, just art and craft. And this education officer came there and said, you know, I have a school in Cambridge. I would like you to be principal because you're so active. So I was taken all the way up to Cambridge, and I stayed there for 3.5 years. Then they built a school at Glendivan, a new school, large school, and I came down as vice principal, started working. But it was at senior all-age school at Cambridge that I learned to write plays.
Senior all-age school?
Yes.
I didn't know there was a school called Senior All-Age School.
Yes, that was the school the education officer took me to.
How did you start writing plays at Senior All-Age?
The people loved me, and I wanted to bridge the school and the community. So I went to a library for a play. I thought play could do that. I couldn't find a play, so I wrote one. And I entered it when somebody from JCD came to look at it.
That's the Jamaica Cultural Development Commission.
Yes,
Festival it was called then.
Festival. Loved it and entered it, and I got, I think I got a silver.
Silver medal.
Gold for the writer and silver for the performers. So I got so interested now, so I started writing plays. And when I was at Glendivan, I would write play relentlessly. I would write for the school, I would write for my church. Melita Samuels would enter 3 plays at any one time, any one year.
So how many awards did you get from Festival
Many,
Office or the
many.
JCDC?
When you look in my room, you see many of them. And it was, while I was doing that now, I got that letter from, that I was being offered the Prime Minister's scholarship to study for 2 years at Edna Manley.
What year was that?
That was 1986. So I got 86 to 88, I got that scholarship.
Hang on, but you were a principal of a school at that time?
I was vice principal now.
Vice principal. So you know you're going to come to Kingston to study?
Oh, yes.
How did that work?
And because I got 2 years leave from Ministry of Education with full pay.
Thank God. So here you are as a mature student at Edna Manley College for the visual and performing arts. How did you fit in? What was that experience like?
It was good because the students treated me like their own. People like Bones, he was a student there. And some of them were, but one thing, I don't think they believed me that I could really, I must tell you about this thing about the playwriting thing. While I was there, I remember at the Edna Manley, one evening after classes, I saw a group of people sitting outside, professional I'm talking about, people who know the business. They were playwrights, and so I went there to listen. And then Mr. Michael Record said, this is not a session for students, it's a session for professionals. So I said, but I'm a playwright. He said, no, you're a student, go inside. So I said, no, let me listen. So I listened, and he allowed me to listen. And at the end of the reading, they were all reading. I can't remember the name, but there are people in and around Kingston who were playwrights. He said, you have anything you write? I said, yes, I have. So I've reached in my bag for The Girl Next Door. And they read it, you know, and said, what a good play for a student. And again, I reminded them that I'm a playwright. And he said, you want to give it to me, that let me enter it in competition? I said, yes, sir. He was my teacher, you know.
Michael Record.
Michael, so I have to say yes to him. So I gave him, and I said, how much it will pay? And he said, six something, whatever, pound or whatever.
Well, it was 80 something, so it would be dollars at that point.
So he took it.
But I noticed you asked him how much it would pay.
Yes.
You had a thing about ensuring that...
Because I have my children at university all about the place, so I have to make sure that I know where the money coming from.
So what happened to that script that you gave to him?
I don't know, but a few days after he came and told me that Mr. Dan Buckner from JBC would like to see me.
That's the Jamaica Broadcasting Corporation.
So I went to Mr. Dan Buckner because I said, what would Mr. Buckner want to see me for? And Mr. Buckner said, he has gotten a contract from United Way, and he has seen a script that I've written for Mr. Record, and could I write one for him for United Way? So I said, yes, sir. And I said, how much again? I said, how much? And he said, it is not for money. I must write it. So I wrote the script, One Coco.